Hello everyone. Welcome to our MOOCs course Early Childhood Education. Today I am going to discuss about Module 4 Unit 1 and the video title is Introduction to Early Childhood Education. From this discussion, you will be able to know the concept of early childhood education, nature of early childhood education, scope of early childhood education, and as well as objectives of early childhood education. So dear learners, let's discuss about all this concept so that you can have the better understanding about what is early childhood education and its importance. The conceptual understanding of what you have been doing in your field of work as early childhood education, you are well aware of the practical aspects of early childhood education. I am going to boost your knowledge and understanding on the basis of early childhood education. Early childhood education is based on the theories and principles of child development. Let us know the concept, nature, scope, objectives of early childhood education. So, let's discuss the concept of early childhood education before going to other concept in this regard. If you will go little back in time, you will find that early childhood education was a part of the family. The child received education and care from elders, parents, and community members or neighbors. The wide existence of joint family provided a rich environment of socialization, inculcation of values, love, care, as well as education for the child. However, the changes in the socio-economic situation have brought about many changes in the early education system. This has given rise to the formal institution of early childhood education like Anganwadis, Balwaris, preschool, etc. Now, early childhood education is one of the most important areas in the field of education. It forms the foundation of the entire education structure. It serves the children of age group of neonatal to 6 years. So, we can understand early childhood education as the education system designed for holistic development of the children of age group of neonatal 6 years. It is a pre-preparatory program for the primary school education. It prepares the children for entering into the formal education system. As we everybody know that we have some developmental stages from neonatal, childhood, then adolescence, then adulthood. So every stages of our life we learn, we modify ourselves. Therefore, the early childhood stage is the foundational stage of our entire life. Therefore, if the foundation will be sound, if the foundation will be good enough, then our other developmental stages we will pass very easily. Otherwise, if our foundation is not strong, not good enough, then it will affect our adolescence period. It will have the impact on till our adult period. Therefore, nowadays, psychologists, educationists, everybody have realized that this type of education, the education system for those the early period of our life, it's very much important and very much essential. It has its significance to build our future stages of development. That's why early childhood education nowadays regarded as most important part of our education system, which means or which refers from neonatal stage to 6 years of age of every children. Then nature and scope of early childhood education. As I am briefly give the concept about early childhood education in front of you, so let us try to grasp the nature of or characteristics through the some points I will mention here. First of all, it focuses on holistic development of the child. Secondly, it provides simultaneously play environment for intellectual, language, emotional, physical, and social development of each and every child. Then, it is based on the principle of child development. It is a school readiness programs for the children, because before going to the primary stages of education, the child has to be prepared, and this is our responsibility as a teacher, as a parents, as an educated member of our society. We have to be aware. We should know how to prepare the child for their future educational stages. Therefore, it is the early childhood education is a school program which prepares the child for their development, for their holistic development, as well as for their future educational stages. It follows playway and activity approach. It encourages interactions with environment, active participation in group activities, and creative problem solving among children. Because psychological point of view, if we see the every children has their different kind of potentialities, different kind of abilities. So from the very beginning of their educational stage, we should understand, we should able to identify all those intellectual abilities of them, and accordingly we have to prepare them, and so that they can adjust in their future educational stages of their life, and they can get the platform, or they can identify the platform in the system of education where they get the chance to utilize their potentialities in the later period. Therefore, from the very beginning, we should give effort by focusing on that particular point. And the next nature of or scope of early childhood education is it requires very careful planning and execution. It involves the parents of the children as well as the community, because it is very much important. Their parents should know as well as the teacher how their child should be prepared, or on what ground they are, or how to deal with the different problems which they may be faced in that particular period of life. For all those problems, to sort out all those problems, parents, teachers as well as the community, everybody should involve in this process. Then early childhood education is a vast area interconnected with many related areas. However, its scope can be defined. Let us try to define the scope of the early childhood education and look at the aspects that fall under its purview. First of all, early childhood education is concerned with the children of age group from 0 to 8 years. Here 0 represents the prenatal period, though it is actually up to 6 years, as I have mentioned before, but the early years of primary stage of education is also considered under it. Secondly, while we are talking about the scope of early childhood education, we have to mention that it involves all the aspects of human development, such as physical development, which is very essential in the early stages, intellectual development or mental development, then emotional development, moral development, as well as social development. It means the all-round development of the human individual. It has its focus. That early childhood education is not only confined to the four walls of the Anganwadi centers or early childhood education institutions, but also within the family and the community that plays an active part in it. So it is very important matter for us. We should not think that early childhood education, we are sending our child to the Anganwadi center or preschool or KG and all, but then they will give their foundational input and all. But as a parents, as a teacher, as a community member, we should have that awareness that we are the responsible person for making our child for our better future. So this is very important. Therefore, early childhood education is not confined the four walls of an educational institutions. The family, the parents, the community, the neighborhood, everything should be involved in this process of education. Then care is an integral part of the early childhood education program. The education of children goes hand in hand with their care, because at that period the children are very delicate. If we see their intellectual development, their social development, in case of social development, in case of their emotional development, at that period they are very self-centered, and our responsibility is that those self-centered children should be converted into a person who can adjust themselves in any situation in the society, in any situation in their future life. We have to make them socialize. Therefore, it's our responsibility to involve in this particular process of education system. Let's discuss now objectives of early childhood education. So, what are the objectives? From the previous discussion, hope you can identify yourself some objectives of this early childhood education system. Here I am going to mention some of these objectives. The objectives of early childhood education are determined based on the developmental characteristics and needs of the children at early childhood stage. The objectives of early childhood education are, first of all, to develop the child a good physique, adequate muscular coordination, and basic motor skills, because this is the right period where we can give them the booster for their physical development for their entire life. Then, to develop in the child good health, habits, and to build the basic skills necessary for the personal, social adjustment, such as washing, cleaning, dressing, using of toilet, etc. So, such type of training we should provide in these stages of education, so that they can have the initial awareness for their health and hygiene, or their good health habits, for which will be helpful for their future life. Then, to develop the child's ability to express his or her thought and feelings in fluent, correct, and clear speech. It means the language development we have to focus at this particular stages of education. Next one, to encourage independence and creativity by providing the child with sufficient opportunities for self-expression. Therefore, because I have already told that every children is differ from each other. They should get the platform for their self-expression. They should not be suppressed. They should get the environment for express themselves fully. Therefore, early childhood education is what has its objectives to encourage all the children for express themselves and to express their creativity, and for that the early childhood education institution should provide sufficient opportunities for them. This is very essential. While we are focusing for their self-expression, at the same time, we have to give them all those opportunities, sufficiencies, so that their self-expression objectives should be fulfilled. Next one, to stimulate intellectual curiosity and to help him or her understand the entire world around them and foster new interest by providing opportunities to explore, investigate, and experiment. Then, the another objectives of this particular system of education is to develop desirable social attitudes and manners to encourage healthy group participation, to make the child sensitive to the rights and privileges of others. As we know that, as a human individual, we are the social being. But when we are coming to this world, we are very self-centered. In the early period of life, we are very self-centered, we are very selfish. It is our psychological nature. And it is developmental, it is the nature of this particular stages of our development. But we are the human individual. We will need our society. Without society, we cannot live alone. Therefore, it's our responsibility to make the social qualities to develop some social qualities, social attitudes in the child's mind, social manners, because these all are they have to need in their future life to live a healthy person in the society. They should when they will be growing and they will reach the adult stages of life, they should be the leader of their society. They should have some contribution towards the development of the society. So how can they will be contribute to their society? Therefore, it is the responsibility of the education system, it is the responsibility of the family to make their child social, to give the social manners, social attitudes, social sensitivity to their children, so that they can have the qualities, they can acquire the abilities for their social life in their future period of or future in the social situation. Therefore, it is one of the most significant and most important objectives of the early childhood education system. Then another objectives of early childhood education is to develop emotional maturity by guiding the child to express, understand, accept and control their feelings and emotions. This is also very important, and to encourage the aesthetic appreciation. So these are some of the objectives of early childhood education. On the basis of that, this early childhood education is prepared, and on such objective, if the early childhood education system is based upon, then definitely we are able to give some healthy production from the educational system as well. Then let's discuss child-centric education in early childhood. Early childhood stays as the foundation of future studies, as I mentioned here, and habit formation of the child for the entire life. Earlier, it was largely an informal affair involving family, household, community members. However, the formalization of these arrangements was required as a result of social changes. Now society has changed, the scenario has been changed, the joint family concept has been changed. It has been, instead of joint family, we prefer definitely nuclear family. So in this process of our lifestyle, in this process of formalization, the child was lost in the desires of the parents, high academic expectations from them, and unhealthy competition. The ultimate aim of education is not to make the children literate but to develop desired changes in the physical, social, emotional, intellectual sphere. For this, appropriate arrangement for teaching in the stage is very much important. Child-centric education helps children become more independent, more responsible, as well as confident. So child-centric education places the child first, an approach with the belief that all children have the right to an education that helps them grow to their fullest potential. Because as we know that every children have they born with some of the potentialities, and this is our prime aim and responsibility to bring out all those potentialities for their better development. Then, importance of early childhood education. What are the importance? The education process during early childhood stage is like gardening. The early childhood education need to nurture the children as the gardener takes care of newly grown plant. Educator needs to nurture the children as the garden takes care of newly grown plant. So early child-centric education, the teacher can make early childhood education as it should be, is very important in early childhood education, as it emphasizes. First of all, learner-friendly environment. In child-centric education, all learners get equal opportunities to take an active participation in teaching learning activities according to their own interest. Teachers are engaged just as a facilitator, just as a guide. Therefore, it is considered as more effective approach of teaching. Next, psychological principles of learning. Self-learning is more effective than teacher-centric approach, in which the teachers impose their own ideas on the learners. Child-centric approach encourages the child to learn something directly from the environment, which helps them to develop the power of reasoning. The next point, we have to be very careful about that inculcation of moral values. As child-centric education emphasizes on group activities, it helps them to develop moral values, for example, sharing, caring, cooperation, and how to healthy competition, as well as to live happily in the social scenario in their individual life. So this is very important. Then another important or significant point I'm going to mention here, that is development of balanced personality. As the children are actively involved in different types of activities, it helps the child to be physically fit, mentally sound, socially adjustable, and emotionally attached, which leads to the development of a balanced personality among them. Then another point here to be mentioned is that respecting the individuality of the child. Children's ideas, learning styles, interests are considered the prime factor of learning, and it encourages them to engage freely in different learning activities according to their own choices. And the most important thing is here, joyful learning. Child-centric education advocates joyful learning, which involves activities like games, sports, singing, dancing, role-playing, toy making, etc. as the medium of instruction in this case. In this way, children enjoy learning. It also makes learning effective and everlasting. Now, let's discuss what are the activities related to child-centric education in early childhood education. Children are very active and constructive by nature. In that particular period, they are ever ready to make new things. Sometimes they break their toys and other items to make something new. The teacher should be also to utilize this instinct by encouraging children to construct and to create new things. They are also fond of collecting things. They should be encouraged to collect useful things for their own interest. This allows children to take an active part and in the teaching learning process. In child-centric education, teachers engage in an active learning process and takes on the role of the facilitator. As no formal teaching is associated with early childhood education, the teacher should organize different activities to develop interest and ability to perform different activities required to acquire knowledge in both physical and emotional level. So some activities we have to be mentioned here. First of all, activities related to collecting different items. Teachers should ask the children to collect different items based on the interest of the child. It helps the child to form good habits, to collect some important things, which also leads them to acquire knowledge about different shapes, size, color, and nature of different things they have collected. These activities definitely help children to learn at their own pace. The teacher acts more like a partner while guiding the child in their individual journey. Then we can also mention, or we can also think about as a teachers of that particular stages, that activities related to making things. The teacher can organize different group activities to provide opportunities to the children to express themselves. The activities like paper folding, making clay models, like tearing and pasting, pattern making, shorting, flower making, drawing, painting, hand painting, etc. In that particular period, these are also helpful for development of their motor skill, moral values, as well as the cooperative nature among the young children, and encourage them to conscious about health and hygiene. Then activity related to singing, dancing, etc., which is very joyful activities definitely. So the activities like singing, song, reciting poem, dancing, drama, which will definitely help the children to develop the skills of speaking, expressing, and have clear thinking and reasoning power, etc. Then we can also take activities related to day-to-day activities. So activities like washing hands before or after taking meal, knot the tie, changing dresses, keeping things in proper places, etc. will help the children to maintain discipline in their life. It also helps in their future life also to inculcate good habits from their very beginning. So this is some of the activities which we can relate to the early childhood education system, and these activities definitely help them in their future life to become systematic, to become very disciplined, and to become social also. So such type of nature that they will able to inculcate from such activities. Therefore we can as a teacher, as a parents, as a neighborhood, we have the responsibility to aware about of this particular education system, which will help us to make some human resources for our future or future society. Therefore, I have discussed this very important topic in front of you, which should be realized by everybody, so that we can have a better realization of the aims and objectives of the entire education system from the very beginning. Therefore, this was this much for the discussion for this video, and the next discussion we will discuss about this topic in our next discussion. Till then, thank you so much, and we will meet again with a new discussion about early childhood education. Thank you.